Hello everyone, welcome to the Social Anxiety Awareness event. There are three speakers, Neil, Sarah, Tatiana. We all have experience of social anxiety and we may be nervous. So what is social anxiety? Social anxiety involves an excessive fear of social situations. Sufferers will often fear being embarrassed or worry about being negatively evaluated by others. Anticipatory anxiety and situational avoidance are common, and individuals may endure social situations with a high level of discomfort. Everyone's experience of social anxiety is likely to be different. The scope of the anxiety may be focused on specific types of social situations or generalized to almost any social or public encounter. That's from our homepage. That's our definition that we put on the homepage. There is a group called the World Health Organization. So social anxiety disorder is a recognized mental health condition with the definition that you can see. How is social anxiety different to shyness? Well, it's really the intensity of the anxiety you feel in the difficult situations for you, the impairment of function, like being able to think straight or complete the task you're trying to do, and all the things you might avoid because you're too anxious. What keeps it going? Self-focused attention, unhelpful thoughts and images, like everyone is looking at me or everyone can see how anxious I am. The feelings and symptoms themselves, panicky feelings, and avoidance and safety behaviors, like just avoiding things or playing with your phone just so you don't, no one notices you so much. Prevalence is quite common. There's different statistics. There's nothing UK easy to find, but the NICE guidance, which is a public body that advises the NHS, they quote 12% figures from America. That's a wide definition and would equate to about 6 million adults in the UK, but using a stricter criteria, it's more like 5%, which would equate in this country to about 2.5 million adults, with children and teenagers bringing the totals much higher. Despite the prevalence, it's widely under-recognised both publicly and in the media. I'll let my colleague Sarah talk now about the charity.
So yeah, I'm just going to talk a little bit about the charity and what our aims are. So we registered as a charity at the Charity Commission in August 2021. We currently have 7 trustees and most of us have social anxiety. We don't have any paid staff. We're run by volunteers only. This is our mission: a society in which social anxiety is widely understood with easy access to appropriate information, support and treatment so that no one has to face social anxiety alone. Our goals are to help those affected by social anxiety find the information and resources that they need to increase public awareness and empathy towards social anxiety, and to promote and improve access to appropriate and effective treatment. This is our social anxiety homepage. So if you want to go and have a look at our website, you can see we've got a lot of different pages of different advice. So depending on, what you're worried about, for example, if you're worried about making phone calls, we have a page on that, and you can just find more information about how to get help, recommended treatments, and various other topics. So this year, what we're aiming to do are to network with other mental health charities so that we can work together to achieve some of our goals, to raise some money for fundraising and funding, which again will enable us to help people with social anxiety, spread general awareness of social anxiety and how it can be treated, and the most common and effective ways of treating it, basically with things like CBT, and also getting the social anxiety community involved, because we want to hear from people with social anxiety about what they think would help them and what we could provide as a charity. Our longer term ambitions are to have more videos on the website, to provide more information and tips for treatment, to provide some self-help courses. We do link to some, but we'd like to provide our own. We want to work with schools and colleges as well, because social anxiety can be a big problem for young people, and we would like to provide a helpline. If you would like to offer help as well, if you want to volunteer for the charity, please see our website. You can also consider joining the feedback forum, which is a kind of ongoing opportunity to provide feedback about the information, resources and activities that will best serve the needs of everyone in the social anxiety community.
Right, and now thank you so much, Sarah and Tatiana, getting help.
Yeah, so I'm going to be talking about some of the different ways to get help in the UK for social anxiety. So there are quite a lot of different resources that I'm going to mention here, and don't worry if you lose track of them, as all the information is also on the website. So firstly, the National Institute for Health and Care Excellence provides guidance about appropriate assessment and treatment for different health conditions within the NHS in England and Wales, which is based off the research evidence base. So these can be helpful to look at if you want to get an understanding of what the research supports, and also to help you to make informed decisions when seeking treatment. And there are a variety of therapy types of social anxiety, including cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which has the greatest evidence base. And CBT helps people to identify and challenge unhelpful thoughts and behaviors. And the main support from the NHS is the Talking Therapy service. And you don't need to have a diagnosed mental health problem to refer yourself to an NHS Talking Therapy service. You can refer yourself directly online, and someone from the service will get in touch and give you an assessment to see whether the service is right for you. And there are also other options available, including guided self-help, where a clinician supports you through self-help resources, and yeah, other options also available. And there are also discussion boards. So this Social Anxiety UK board has existed for over 20 years, and it's the biggest UK forum for talking about social anxiety. And it's important to note that this is separate from our charity, despite having a similar acronym. And some people also find self-help books to be helpful. I think having more knowledge about the disorder and gaining different perspectives on how to get better can be very useful. And it can also be a very good first step if you're feeling unsure about seeing a therapist. And self-help courses also exist, and they can be a nice way to structure your progress. So there are video-based courses and worksheet-based courses, and these can vary in cost. So some are free and others can cost a few £100s. And we have a list of courses on our website which aren't specific recommendations, but it could make it easier for you to look through them and choose which one is best for you. And these resources by the Australian Centre for Clinical Interventions are quite extensive, and they're also free. So this is a clinical psychology service that has made workbooks, worksheets and information sheets for social anxiety that generally focus on the cognitive behavioural approach. And the workbook is generally organised into modules, which can be helpful to structure your progress. And there are also different social anxiety groups, which could be helpful if you want peer support or to connect with people who might be struggling with similar things to you. So some of these are online, like Walk the Talk, and others in person, like this Bristol group. There's also a Facebook group called Social Anxiety UK. And the leading UK social anxiety research team is at Oxford, and they've done some very influential work in developing and improving treatments for social anxiety and providing guidance for therapists. And sometimes they also have treatment research studies, which are usually advertised on their website. And then finally, we just wanted to acknowledge that getting better is completely possible. And like we said, many of our trustees have had lived experience of social anxiety. And so we're saying this as people who know how difficult or impossible it can feel to get better, but also know that from our own experiences that it is possible. And getting better is something that takes time, and progress isn't always linear, but you have to celebrate every small step you take and not be too hard on yourself when things seem difficult. So social anxiety can be treated, and people can respond very well to therapy. And we've talked through a bunch of these different options today, and you can explore them further on our website.
Right, that's great. Thanks, everyone. Can I just ask my colleagues to close this video and have a look at our website? And thank you very much.